A crisis is an extreme circumstance that doesn't happen often. In your personal life, you will have a crisis. In society, there will be times of crisis, extreme circumstances that don't happen often. And what a crisis can do is create an opportunity. Why? Because is not change is not sought after until there is pain experienced at an extreme level. And a crisis brings extreme pain because it's an extreme circumstance. Example, in my personal life, I was obese and I went through a health crisis because I got nerve damage trying to lift heavy weights. And I didn't change my diet, but I went extreme on my weightlifting. And I had a health crisis. I was in the hospital. I had nerve damage. It took about a year to really fully recover for that, a year and a half, 2 years almost. And it changed the way I looked at eating, at my lifestyle. I'm not perfect. I don't have a six-pack, even though at one time after my extreme lifestyle change, I had like a four-pack because I was eating bare minimum. A crisis in society also creates opportunity. Why? Because now you have the masses, you have all people feeling pain, and now you have a focus, concentration, and energy to do something. What's the difference between a laser and a light focus? If you have some people doing this and some people doing that, some people doing good, some people bad, you don't have unity. There's strength in unity, period. And you'll never be united through compassion and humanity until it affects many people. There's individual crisis and there's society crisis. Both create opportunities. However, if you look at a crisis as an opportunity to buy the stock market cheap, you've missed out on the life lesson. And your entire life, your day, will be masturbating to if the Dow Jones averages are up or down. And you have money's not evil. Working for a living or investing is not evil. And being happy about money is not evil. But it's one part of life. I've often shared, I think it's a big part of life. But you can get caught in the loop. I've gotten caught in a loop where money becomes what you look at as an opportunity versus lifestyle deep changes, reform. A crisis will pass in your personal life and society. Nothing lasts forever, good or bad times. Everything fades. And it's good that everything fades because until you're close to death, you realize this is all just a little bit of a game. Okay. Throughout human history, the ball moves forward one way or another. Let me switch to fear versus confidence because it's all part of creating a lifestyle change in a time of a crisis. Fear is good. Why is fear good? Because guys, I'm in South Florida. I walked over a bridge today. And I don't like heights. You could say I have a fear of heights. So some people who argue that don't have fear, just have confidence. No matter how confident I am, if I jump off that bridge, I will die. Fear has some legit messages to your well-being. There's a reason that sometimes fears have validity. Too much fear and no confidence is you're frozen, you're paralyzed. So what are we talking about? We're talking about in life, when it comes to fear versus confidence, you need to balance the two. Okay. Like I often said, like every investment has a risk. Okay. We'll go back to money because most people think about money. So again, most people look at a crisis as an opportunity to buy stuff cheap, possibly, because it can get a lot cheaper. The minute you think you figured out life, you'll get punched in the mouth. Mike Tyson had a saying is everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Use a crisis not just to capitalize off, and I'm not mad at that if you do, but to change your life. Because you have opportunities, not many. You don't have many opportunities to change your life or to change society. 1929, if it wasn't for the Great Depression, you wouldn't have Medicare or Social Security. It was a crisis. It was breadlines that made society change. If it wasn't for civil rights, Million Man March on the doorstep with extreme circumstances, you wouldn't have had change. Jim Cramer went on CNBC today and said the Federal Reserve should do a Malcolm X, any means necessary to keep this economy afloat. Guys, the same people that want to keep the economy afloat, did they have that same passion for equal rights? Or when the stock market just 2 weeks ago was at an all-time high, was it there's a financial inequality in the system? They weren't saying that. Why? Because they didn't feel pain. You're united in pain. Pain is the humanitarian's common thread. There's only one thing that unites humanity: pain. Because it don't matter if you're from Afghanistan, Israel, America, or China. Pain is the common denominator of humans. And it's the only thing sometimes that gets people's attention. However, here's the problem with it. It's temporary, most things in life. When I was in the hospital, and at different times in my life when I visited people in hospitals, when they were in an extreme personal crisis, and I'll relate it to this. When you're drunk on New Year's Eve, I remember drinking Everclear Motel 6 in Piscataway, New Jersey. One of the worst nights I got drunk. And I was throwing up all night. I was in a crisis. And I remember I said, God, get me out of this night and I'll never drink again. See, when there's an extreme crisis, you want to change. You know you need to change. You feel the pain of the hangover or the alcohol poisoning. However, this is the problem with society and you individually. And myself, I'm sharing a personal life experience, is the next day or the next 3 weeks later, when you have fully recovered and the pain subsided, you go back into forgetting about fear, and now you're just confident. Fear has value. Too much fear and no confidence has paralyzing atmosphere. You know, like there's a part of life that's psychological. If you have a pain in your chest and you begin to Google all the different things it could be, psychologically, you feel like now you're really dying. However, you may really have something wrong with you. However, if you're just confident that I'm gonna just drink green tea and I can make it through any sickness or any disease, you don't have enough fear. What are we talking about? We're talking about crisis creates opportunity, only for a brief period of time. Seize the moments of your life personally and in society for the good, okay? Because there is plenty of people that are looking to seize an opportunity in a crisis for personal gain and for power and leverage. The art of the deal, okay, Donald Trump loves the art of the deal, is when you have leverage over someone else, then you use it. And let me tell you something, everyone out there that wants change in your personal life or in society, when there is a time where you have leverage, you have power, you use it. For the good though, okay, for the good of your life and for the lives around you. You can't save everyone. There's no program that can save everyone, and there's nothing you're going to do. However, there's always things you can do to push the rock forward to a better life. And if you're too cynical to believe me, look at human history and all the good people who sacrificed to make societies better. And you'll be proven wrong through your cynicism. Like I say, crisis, it will pass. How long, how short, no one knows, because no one is God. You know, even Jesus, some people called him God. Okay. And they asked him, well, you're our Savior. Are we in the end times? And Jesus, you know what he said back to him? He said, no one knows the end times. Only God, basically, he said. So I'll tell you, you want to know a hypocrite, false prophet, or an ignorant psychopath look at someone claiming to know the end times, just like someone claiming to know the bottom of the stock market. I guarantee you, they're the false prophets of the world. Never forget it. Never forget it. A crisis can be good because you need some shakeup in life to do something different. I would have never, I always had a vision of improving my life, but it's when I feel, look, it's when you got a little bit of fire under your ass. That's when you're more motivated, whether it's through pain or your time. I often say, I'll use the shot clock analogy of a basketball game, even if you don't like basketball. The reason they use the 24-second shot clock is because they want to create a crisis. When you have the ball, you have a crisis of 24 seconds to do something. If not, you're violated and the ball goes to the other team. So why do they create a crisis in a game? To keep flow, to keep movement, to keep it exciting, to keep it engaged. The worst thing you can do is be idle and complacent and lazy and stagnant. So that's why I often say tattoo the number 80 on your forehead. Because even if you never get infected with the coronavirus or whatever virus, you're going to, on average, die by 80. And if that doesn't create a crisis opportunity in your life, you're never going to do anything. Your whole life's going to be fucking nothing. There's people that are still waiting to sell their house, move. And now if we go into a recession, they waited too long. However, if it goes up, they may wait even longer. Guys, there's never going to be a perfect time. A crisis doesn't create a perfect opportunity because no one knows the future. So what should you do? You should not just do things hastily. You should plan, prepare, and be responsible, but you should live with a level of urgency. You're always in a crisis. Because whether times are good or bad, one thing that always creates a crisis in your life is the shot clock of the human life expectancy, which every night I go live, I pretty much say very similar things, that every day you live, you get closer to death, okay, whether you're healthy or not, because we're all dying. You're terminally ill when you're born into this world. No one leaves this world alive. Jesus, Gandhi, or any other figure throughout history, no one leaves this earth alive. What are you going to do with your life? What impact are you going to instill in your own life first and then in society? Do you want to just look at the Dow Jones ticker the rest of your life on a side window while you're working? Is that going to be your life? And I'm not mad at that, because I am not against money. I like money. I like a level of capitalism. I like a level of innovation. However, I don't like when the stock market goes down, taxpayers bail out corporations, and you know what the regular person gets? 6 months extra of unemployment. Okay. And that's it. Either we're all tied into the stock market. When it goes up, we all get a dividend, or when it goes down, losers lose. Period. Demand it in a time of a crisis. Demand it. Because if you think anything in life happens without you speaking up, not being shut up by someone says, oh, you're a socialist or you're this, you speak up, man. Like Biden told that guy with the guns, man, sit your ass down. And I'm not a big Biden fan either. However, I'm not into being bullied either. Never forget it. Never forget it. A bully's not a leader. Okay. I don't care how tough he talks. Okay. I don't care what emotional mechanisms he uses or she uses. It's in the fruit. Jesus said, how do you measure someone's character? By their life actions. What they do with their life, what they've done with their life, and how they treat others. That's their actions. What they say and how they pander and how they seem like a tough, good leader, that don't mean shit. Because I guarantee anyone in this world could be broken. Anyone. Never forget it. If you don't believe that, you haven't lived enough life, or you're not a good person, period. And that's why crisis creates an opportunity. Because the strongest people are then broken. And like the Bible says, then their hearts are no longer hardened. Like Pharaoh. But Pharaoh's heart becomes hardened again. As soon as he allows the Exodus, he rethinks it because the crisis is over. And he goes after him. And I'm not pandering to any religion, okay? I'm not pandering to Jewish, Christian, Muslim, anyone, okay? Because they all got good and bad points, okay? Period. And shout to my atheists. What I could tell you is this. You better live with love, peace, and joy. I have fun, man. You look at my 2,000 videos, you won't see a perfect man, okay? You won't see me always being right. But what you're going to see is consistently showing up and trying to improve myself and going after what I want. Whether it was videos of me being buried alive in snow in New Jersey, videos of me drinking coconut juice down in Miami, hating life or loving life. In a crisis or in any time of life, what do you do when you're totally lost for answers? You put one foot in front of the other, and you take life one day at a time. And that's how you get through a crisis. That's how you get through your life. Make a difference in your life and in societies. Never forget it. All right, that's it. Click the thumbs up, share the video. I'll read all live comments. Sweat my ass off, guys, because I'm in Florida. And I'm going to tell you something. When I was snowed down in, when it was cold as hell in New Jersey, I had a vision of being here. But let me tell you this too. It was one of the warmest winters in American history, documented this past winter. For the first time ever, I saw an interview with the Hess Oil Company CEO today, March 12th, 2020. The Hess Oil Company CEO said climate change is real. He said we're still going to need oil to get past it though, so we can't be unbalanced. But now you have executives of oil companies. Look it up. Look up the CEO of Hess Oil Company. He said climate change is real. Period. Period. Okay, so guys, look. Is he a liar too? So look, guys, that's what it is. We'll read all live comments. Isaac, glad to see you tonight. Always good to see you, brother. Shout out to you. Frago, shout out to Miami. Good evening, pal. Good evening to you. Shout out to Miami. Two more confirmed coronavirus people in Broward County. Broward County, which is South Florida. Two more people infected with the virus. Two people in New Jersey, Middlesex County, East Brunswick, and Edison, New Jersey, infected with the coronavirus. Look it up. Okay? Still a small percentage of human population, but look up Italy. Look at the lockdown. Okay? Look up Australia. Okay? Australia got universal health care. Tom Hanks right there right now. Okay? Got infected with it. They had the mass test kits out weeks ago. Okay? If you don't use a crisis opportunity like they did in the Great Depression to get reform for the masses, if you're just looking for the Fed to pump money for the Dow Jones, fuck you, man. Fuck you, man. If you're just looking to say this is a good opportunity to buy the index fund, fuck you. I'm not mad at you. I want you to make money. But if you don't want reform, then you're part of the problem. That's how I look at it. The great toilet paper war has started. I'm going to do a video tomorrow. Good to see you, Audi. I'm going to do a video tomorrow. I'm going to upload it. I did it today after work from Publix supermarket in Florida. All the toilet paper, all the Lysol, gone, sold out. There's signs in the thing. There's still commerce. People are still shopping. There's still food and canned goods. But there's a run on toilet paper and Lysol. Be careful, guys. Jesus. Be careful of the coronas. Oh, it's out there, guys. Oh, it's out there. So is herpes, though. So be careful of that, man. I told you one time I was in Melbourne Beach, Florida. I got crabs sitting on McDonald's bench. That's truth. I don't know. It's true that. 100. Carol. Hey, Carol. Hey, Sam. Hello to you. Howdy. Probably it's just an internet story. I don't know. The paranoid trait can be explained by the ancestors that were the ones afraid would they stay awake during the night. I'm not sure. Iris Fatomatics, thank you. The hard reset is real. It's true. I remember I had a friend I worked with, and his son was struggling with drug addiction. And I think his son made a recovery like around 20, at the age of 24. And he told his son, he goes, son, you only get so many opportunities for a reset. Most people who have drug problems, it's going to be a fight the rest of your life. Okay. Because you have relapses. However, you can get past it. You got to put one foot in front of the other one day at a time. Fall and get back up. But you got small opportunities in life to pivot, whether it's in your personal life or in society. And you have to seize that moment, okay? Because they don't come often. And again, you don't use that moment to bullshit with, to pussyfoot around. You take bold action for serious, healthy reform in your life and in society's life. And if you don't, if you're looking for a sugar high, you're going to come crashing down. Because rocket fuel sends you up, and you come crashing down. Never forget it. Tom's Mobile Auto Repair. I'm news free, pretty much enjoying the sunshine after easy day work. Stay positive. Hey, brother, I hear you, but it's going to affect your business. Many news media is hype. But guys, the First Amendment right of the Constitution is free press. China didn't have news media. So China don't have news. They got locked down. Guys, don't get paranoid. Don't let fear be more than confidence. But especially my nomads, it's going to affect your business. Okay? Because Disney World shut down. You think that don't affect business? Starbucks employees are ciphering in. They're not all working. Toilet paper gone. Nomads out there, guys. I'm not saying it's the end of the world. It's not. I always told you guys, not the end of the world. Life going to go on. But you need to be somewhat informed. And you need to be somewhat ready to use your flexibility. Because conditions will change in a crisis. They'll go back to normal and there'll be a new normal. Because nothing stays the same, including a crisis. But don't just be like every news is fake news, because that's not the truth. But don't be like every news is gospel, because yes, it is exaggerated. There's a balance. Because if you believe all news is fake, go to China, because that's what they got. They don't have the right to have free press. Okay? And yeah, you'll be quarantined without even being asked. Never forget it. I love you, Tom. Audie, damn, you killing it. I appreciate that positive love. Audie, I lost 100 pounds due to that. Now that I was overconfident, I'm putting some weight back on. That's normal. Your body weight will fluctuate just like the stock market or just about life. Why? Because we're human. We're not just mathematical. If we're just robots, and if you take emotion out of life, we're just robots. We're an algorithm. However, like you're learning, algorithms still can't predict the future. There's no mathematical formula that can predict the future. Why? Because guys, life is not an exact science. I say that often. Life is a balance between science and art. Okay? Life is a balance between fear and confidence. You can't be one without the other, and you can't have too much of one without the other. Never forget it. Good job. Isaac, it was a beautiful day, warm day here in North Alabama, 76. Well, shout out to Alabama. It was a gorgeous day in South Florida, 88 degrees Fahrenheit. I still did what I needed to do, showed up for work. I did not go to Planet Fitness today. That's one thing I did, but it was my rest day anyway. But I didn't spend as much time in Starbucks. I did go into Atlantic Ocean. But look, I'm conscious. You're a little bit more mindful, changing some little things just to make adjustments. Hey, iGaming. Hey, Sam. Hello to you. Shout to Canada. Also got universal health care. Quasboy. What's up, Sam? I just got a job at Bojangles. Okay, congratulations to you, man. Hopefully Corona doesn't affect my new job. I hope it doesn't either. Look, the first people that will be affected are, the people on the front lines as far as low, it's not low, but as far as restaurant workers, tourism, service industry, okay? And then if it stays prolonged, the debt markets slow up, businesses don't have as much opportunity to be liquid and to get debt, and then there's layoffs because workforce is the first one. And that's why the government's putting together a bailout package to keep the process flowing, okay? Because the 70% of the U.S. economy is based on consumerism. You going to Starbucks, you filling up your gas tank, you buying stuff. If you stop buying, if Disney World shut down, you ain't going to Disney World, you ain't buying stuff. When stuff shuts down, no commerce, recession. Okay. However, it's a cycle, and everything's a cycle. And so, bottom line is, if you get laid off, apply to another job and keep showing up. Because I've been laid off before. Okay, I've had my salary frozen. I've been laid off, and what I could tell you is you keep staying in the workforce. You apply for another job, do what you need to do. And while we're doing reform, because it's a crisis, let's not just bail out these corporations who are begging for it right now. They're begging for the government to intervene. I want every conservative to swallow that. They're begging for the government to intervene. Everyone, Jim Cramer again was on, now he's on CNBC. 2 weeks ago, he told you to buy the Dow Jones at 27,000. Now he's telling you the government doesn't know what they're doing. Just like in 2008, they got to intervene. Fucking disaster, man. It may go back up, but they ain't going to help us if it go back up. Guys, look. You better get, if fucking $8 an hour is minimum wage with no health care, that's a fucking disgrace to humanity. Donald Trump had the stock market all-time high. Did he give a fuck about universal health care, pay increase? They didn't give a shit. So if you don't look at this as an opportunity, then you're out of your mind, man. Because they were tap dancing all over your face when things were great, and now they're begging for humanity's help. Okay, and what you're saying, oh, I want to help because we're all together. But if I'm gonna work, okay, I'm not being lazy. If I'm gonna work, I should at least be able to pay for rent and have health care. Okay, you working at Bojangles, you ain't gonna be able to do that. It's a good start. Start where you can. Okay, but guys, the system is as skew. Statistically, we're at the same place during the Great Depression. Wealth gap is as big as it's ever been, and that's what it is. And it's been growing. So you got to reset the balance, man. That's what it is. And the people who are doing good, okay, you have to speak up, okay? Not just shut up and look at your 401k. If you're not, fuck you. You know? I mean, what's your point? You know, and a lot of these same people that go to church every week, man. Total disgrace, I think. Total disgrace. They were mad at Starbucks for not having Jesus on their cup. Even though in America, you're not supposed to force religion upon anyone's throat. If Howard Schultz is Jewish and he don't want to celebrate Christmas, he shouldn't have to celebrate Christmas. Or if he was Muslim, he shouldn't have to celebrate it. However, Trump blasted him. Where's the Christmas cups? Guys, if we believe in Jesus, we should believe in universal health care, no? Or do we believe in Christmas cups? What type of crisis are we really in? Was there an attack on Christmas or an attack on the American worker, on humanity? Oh, come on, guys. You fell for the banana in the tailpipe, man. You fell for the banana in the tailpipe. Total disgrace. Isaac, just try to keep your debt's expenses low. I agree, unless you're an oil company or anyone on the S&P 500, because they're over-leveraged. The PE ratios for every company in the major stock market index, they all have too much debt. Some of the companies don't even make money. Uber doesn't make money. Amazon barely. Guys, these guys aren't printing money. They're over-leveraged in debt, and we're going to bail them out. And we're living below our means, or they're telling us to. Guys, the crisis is the opportunity to change, reform, man. Pay attention, man. Good job. Rick, how much hand sanitizer do you use? I don't have hand sanitizer. I wash my hands a lot. I used a coronavirus kryptonite, which is Lysol, God willing. So, guys, 99.9% of germs getting killed with this, I hope. Okay? So, guys, is this, and, you know, all you can do is the best you can. I mean, I'm avoiding some public areas, doing the best I can. But, guys, I'm a nomad. I depend on public resources. And I was thinking about that, and this is why I tell you guys, I want you to pay attention to all my nomads out there. If you're full-time RVing or living in a vehicle, my next step, I'm not saying I'm going to rush to do it, but my next step is you need a self-contained vehicle with a kitchenette, bathroom, and a bed. Because, guys, I am dependent to be able to go to Planet Fitness, take a shower. I'm dependent to go to the supermarket to get food. I can't store shit in here. Guys, I live in a Jeep, man. So it's like, I got to have public resources, okay? If we're quarantined, I'm screwed. You know what I mean? So I would probably have to go to a hotel, you know, or they put you in a homeless shelter. You won't be one of them. So what I would tell you is this, just remember, like, being a nomad is great, but we're at higher risk. If they're serious, guys, they could do the same thing they did to Italy. They could tell you can't travel. They may not. Guys, I'm not trying to push the panic button, but that's a reality. It's a fact. That's what they did in Italy. You can't, you know, there's a lockdown, man. You know, so if they lock down the states because it breaks out, you have to be prepared. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. Me for saying the name wrong. Fireproof Sun. Why are people buying toilet paper? It doesn't kill the virus. I guess it's a bare essential, right? Because you always got to take a dookie. It's a good question. I mean, hand sanitizer. There was 3 things that were out of. I'll do a video about tomorrow. 3 things that were sold out in the supermarket: toilet paper, paper towels, and sanitizer. I can understand sanitizer because you try and kill germs. Well, I guess toilet paper because, look, if it doesn't matter if the stock market's all-time high or all-time low, you got to take a shit. It doesn't matter if it's Donald Trump or Bernie Sanders, you got to take a shit. So bare essential now, but there was a lot of canned goods. So I don't know. I mean, you figure like the beans would be gone and the toilet paper. I don't know, man. That's an interesting question. I don't know fully. Rick, self-containment, man, or self-confinement. Well, here's a pro to everyone out there who's an introvert, who hates people. Guys, you got what you asked for. The whole humanity is under self-quarantine. You're already good at that because you've been doing it your entire life. So keep doing it. You're doing a great job. Oh, Juicy Jeff, fire emoji and perfect emoji. Thank you, brother. Shout out to Callie. Jagger J. Howdy, hello to you. Juicy Jeff, some companies definitely aren't living below their means. Most companies aren't. If you factually look up the statistics on most publicly traded companies, even private ones, they are not bringing in a positive net profit. They operate off revenues, they borrow debt, and the stock market is they just issue more stock. Even Tesla doesn't make a net profit. They're totally in debt. They're totally speculative. Just because you see a Tesla on the road, that doesn't mean they make money. Guys, they sell you an illusion, okay? Same thing, so don't, just because you Uber, that doesn't mean Uber makes money. They don't make money. They lose billions. Uber lost $1 billion last year, man. Guys, the whole system, the banking system and the American dollar, it's based off debt. The whole system is based off the economy spending more money than we actually have in gold. And I'm not mad at that because that's what makes the economy grow, or else we'd be trading and bartering. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be growth. But at a certain point, you get out of balance. Too much confidence, not enough fear. Now, when you get too much fear and not enough confidence, then you get recession because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So it's a balance. Life is a thin balance, guys. Thin balance. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? It's a thin balance. Good job. Rick Floss, what's up, man? Remember to buy Lysol, please. Yeah, using my link. Damn it, thank you. Let me get a commission for the whole world class, man. Turn crisis. Yeah, thank you, man. Damn it, show some love and respect for Rick Ross, man. Turn crisis into commission opportunity. Guys, I'm a humanitarian and a capitalist. Why? Guys, I'm living in a capitalist society. How can I? But I'm not asking you to spend extra money if you're going to buy Lysol anyway. Might as well use my link. I'm not mad at that. Rob, been so long, Sam, since this episode was on fire. Hope you. Well, good to see you, Robin. Thank you. Rob, doing well. Thank you. FF Steve, stay safe, brother. Thank you. Been a few months. I appreciate you, but I'm wishing you well. I appreciate people who just checking in, man. And I always tell you guys, if you watch one video or all my videos, love and respect to you, and I'm not here to manipulate or force you. If you don't like me anymore, or if you just want to, do you. Because I'm not about control and manipulation, guys. And I'll never be about that, because the worst relationships you'll ever be is people who say, like, you need me or you're part of my tribe. You ain't part of my tribe. You do what you need to do for you, okay, as far as in a healthy way. And then you let that pattern in your life of doing healthy stuff, then you lead into society with healthy habits, okay? I'm not saying isolate yourself. Look, I'm a loner, but I'm still a positive, productive person in society, okay? And that's how I make society better, okay? So same thing with you. You could be a loner and still do positive and productive things in your life, okay? So that's what it is. Good job. Casso, the rich become rich and the poor stay in this market. Guys, look, as far as stock market and anything else, I told you I don't give tips because everyone's going to tell you what to do and when to do it, and no one's ever going to be 100% right. Everyone do whatever they want with their money. But the bottom line is, if you look at a crisis opportunity solely just to nothing wrong with capitalizing, there's nothing wrong with making money. But what I'm trying to tell you is there should also be reform, okay? And you should be just as fired up about that as about anything else. And if you're not, then guys, you're going to be the last person alive with a bunch of canned goods, gold, and a brokerage account. And I'm not mad at you, but you're going to see, just like I saw when I was in a hospital bed and you're close to death, you're going to see what life was all about, okay? And yes, life's about doing for you, making money, doing what you need to do, all about that. But it's really about, too, being your best self, okay? And being a positive, productive person in society. You can do both, okay? There's plenty of people that do both, okay? Most people get cynical, say screw everybody else, and they forget. They forget that one time they were hurting and they were in pain and they were in a crisis and someone else helped them. And then they became too confident. And then they just said, you screwed up. And that's true. Bro says, I thought bottled water was sold out as well. No, I'll do a video about that tomorrow. I saw plenty of bottled water in the store. That's true. Steve, get a bidit if you have a toilet. I don't know what a bidit is. What does that mean, man? Let me just check something real quick. Yeah, I don't know what a bidit is. But if you want to explain that, that's fine. Shout out to you. Let's continue, Reap. Juicy Jeff. Damn, I hope I don't have to go back to Idaho. Well, I'll tell you, I've been seriously thinking about going back to see my mom. Because I worry about her. Not necessarily because of the virus. But look, she's already elderly. She's 73 with bad health. She's still independent. But look, she's more vulnerable in society. And again, when did crisis become an opportunity in the Great Depression? When we realized we had to protect the most elderly through Medicare and Social Security. Never forget it. And, you know, look, like I say, nothing wrong with making money, nothing wrong with doing you. But look, you know, just remember that when you get to a certain point in life, elderly, spend time with your loved ones. Look, if you spend too much time with your loved ones, you're going to realize that's not the answer either. Okay, you got to go live your life. You're not meant to stay in mommy's house the rest of your life. You're not. Okay, and you know, so don't feel bad about going out there in the world and being. You got, you know, look, it's part of life. You're going to lose your parents. Horrible part. Anthony, $9.99 super chat, sending money for Lysol and Saxo. Damn it, bro. I appreciate that, man. Shout out to you. Shout out to that. Those are your kids in the video, man. God bless you and your family, man. I appreciate the love and the show of appreciation. Thank you for the tip, man. Like I said, don't forget your strippers, guys, because they're the first ones to suffer in a recession, man. Discretionary income gets, you know, put away. So love to you, Anthony, man. Thank you for the love, man. But yeah, guys, look, if you got family members out there you haven't seen, or you got elderly family members, check in on them. I'm not saying live with your mother, and you know, I'm just saying, look, check in, and you know what you need to do. Don't be over emotional. But, you know, be emotional, because if you're not emotional, you're a robot, okay? And if you're a robot, you're an algorithm. And if you're an algorithm, you're going to realize there's no exact science to life, and you're going to fail that way too. Good job. Thank you again, Anthony. Love to your brother. Love to your children. Milano, Sammy, we are going to get a lot of unemployment. Maybe and maybe not. Again, I don't know the future. I've always tried to be honest with you. No one knows. So this may pass quickly or it may not, okay? However, use it as an opportunity to look at your life. Is there something you want to do with your life? When are you going to do it? When are you going to sell your house? Or when are you going to buy your house? Or when are you going to get your health together? You know, look at it as an opportunity for social reform. When are we ever going to get universal health care? When are we going to stop bailing out corporations and get increased minimum wage and equal pay and stuff like that? When are we going to do it? So it will pass. Whether it's a long time or short time, I don't know. No one knows. But remember, when you were once sick in the hospital or hurting, you're going to feel better. Remember when you were throwing up New Year's Eve drinking Everclear in Motel 6? I've been there. Remember when you swore to God you would never drink again. Then remember 2 weeks later when it passed and you got more confident and you drank again. So when things look the worst, remember they will get better. But remember to keep that fire and that passion for that seizing of the opportunity in your mindset. Because that's what, you know, life is, to progressively move stuff forward in your own individual life and in society's life. Okay, so that's truth. Rick, 2/3, 91%. I don't know what that means. Alcohol versus 1/3. Oh, the sanitizer breakdown. Oh, thank you for that. Okay, yeah, sanitizer definitely has alcohol in it. I remember I worked with an alcoholic. He used to tell me that because I guess at one time he was drinking sanitizer. He was that strung out on alcohol. So that's true. Forgive me for saying the name wrong. I'll say AZ. This is the first time I've watched you. Well, thank you. You seem to be very informed. Thank you. Kudos to you, brother. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Now just look. And I appreciate that compliment. I'm not God. Okay. I am not always right. No one is. Doesn't matter how loud they speak or how wise they sound. Because we're all human. So sometimes someone, you know, so just remember that as well. But I appreciate your compliment. And I thank you for that. Isaac, I agree with you on the fact that we need changes to our system. Thank you for sharing this perspective. Well, thank you. But just remember, guys, if the Dow Jones or if society improves tomorrow and everything goes back to normal, the opportunity's gone. Okay? Because just like you remember this in your personal life. When you're throwing up on New Year's Eve and you drank too much, you want to change. Okay? But when time passes, you don't care anymore. So it's going to be the same thing with society, guys, because society is just a collection of individuals. That's all it is. It's not like, even corporations, they're ran by individuals. So when the pain passes, and it'll pass, whether how short or how long, I don't know, because I'm not God. But when it does pass, people go right back to bullshit, okay? And so, but there are people throughout life and throughout society that have progressively moved the ball forward through keeping a fire burning in their soul, in their individual life, and in being a leader in society. And it's fact. Because if you get too cynical, you look back at history and you look at the people who made a positive impact in their own personal life and in society, and then you remember not to give up completely, okay? Do you take care of yourself, okay? There's going to be some people you can't help, but that should not exclude the vast majority of good and decent people who get screwed by the extremes. The extreme wealthy or the extreme whatever, or the extreme nasty and extreme. There's always the vast majority of people trying to do the best they can. Okay? And you remember that. Good job. Taffy, I can't imagine if USA declares lockdown. Oh, it will. I shared a thing from George Carlin. I think in 1942, the United States government quarantined all Japanese Americans. These were Americans with full citizen rights. But because of the attack, whatever it was, on Pearl Harbor, or whatever the situation was, all of them went into like containment camps. So guys, look, your rights are as good as the situation merits. Sometimes unjustly, sometimes justly. Okay? Guys, if we really believed in the Bill of Rights of America and in amendments, we would never even question why the NFL players took a knee at the national anthem. That's their guaranteed right in the First Amendment, to protest the government for any reason. There is nothing mandating that you have to stand for the anthem. It's actually the opposite. You have a guaranteed right ensured by the Constitution that you can protest for any reason. Okay? And taking a knee or assembling is protest. But guys, you can only do so much until you get pushback. So look, if shit got out of hand, the powers to be will always, sometimes I understand why. I'm not too unfair. Like, look, if there's a mass outbreak, just like in Italy, I'm not saying I agree with everything, but I can understand why the powers to be say, look, we have to contain. However, you just remember that there's a thin balance, guys, and society has shown it, that, you know, everything is up on the table for negotiation when it's an extreme crisis. And for some people, it's an opportunity to take away rights. Guys, after 9/11, the Patriot Act was passed. Now, in some instances, it may have helped our national security. In other instances, guys, anyone can spy on you and take your phone records. You know what I mean? So, but I'm not a conspiracy theory person, but it's just part of life. I mean, sometimes for the good, sometimes for the bad. No one knows everything. I'm not an anarchist. I'm not someone that thinks like everything is against us. I understand why the powers to be sometimes take away rights. If I'm fair, I try to be fair. I have my own way of thinking, but look, again, if there's an extreme circumstance, I mean, you have to understand. I mean, somebody's got to lead. You can't just have anarchy. You got to control. However, it's a thin balance. Okay, so you got to be mindful of that. That's why you have to know your rights and be mindful of them. But you have to be fair that just because you have the right to do something doesn't mean you should press the issue. Okay. That's the other thing about a wise person. Now, if you need to exercise your right for an extreme, then do it. But sometimes you don't need to exercise your right just to prove a point. And there's plenty of people who do that. You know what I mean? They want to exercise their right just to prove a point. That's not wisdom. That's spite. There's a big difference, okay? And so, you know, you have to realize that. And that will make a more just society. And then he goes, I can't just believe that they'll do that. I feel like people would go crazy. It's been there before. But it'll pass. People already are getting anxious, and crazy down would be total disaster. It would, but if it, you know, and it may pass, but if it was a total disaster, then it would be a total disaster. Love to you, brother. Good to see you, Taffy, and I appreciate you. Quasboy, how do you balance self and work-life balance? It's an individual journey because you have a different fingerprint than me and many other people. Some people enjoy work at a very high level. They're very productive. Some people don't. You have to do something, okay? Now, you'll have to figure out how much and what you need to survive on the lifestyle you want to live. Being idle is deadly. If a car isn't ran, its hoses crack, it rusts away. Your body has to be used, your mind has to be engaged. Now, too much stress on some people is no good, but no stress on everyone is no good. Like I said, I have family members that said they couldn't work because they get stressed out and then they do drugs. And I can understand that, but then they stayed home all the time. They still end up doing drugs and they have unhealthy relationships. So not working wasn't the answer either. You have to balance it. So what do I recommend people do? Live below their means and apply for jobs and try different jobs until you find something you relatively like. Now, will you always do something you love? No, but life is about, trying to get better as you go, okay? And, trying to figure that out. I mean, it's an individual quest that you as a person have to develop. And I can only give you general guidelines because I'm not God and I'm not you. And that's why I never tell you guys, like, do this, do that. I mean, I try not to. I try to tell you, you have to be yourself and you have to learn these things through self, but you got to do stuff. You got to go after it. Okay, you got to live with urgency, because if you don't, your whole life is it's shit. Okay, and I see people do it shit, and my life has become better. Not perfect. I have my horrible days. I have some great days, and I got the in between days. I'm human. Okay, I'm human, but I try to just keep doing the best I can based on whatever I'm in. You know what I mean? So that's what I tell you. Best advice I can give you, Carol. A Bidet, she goes. Okay, she's giving me a Bidet looks similar to a toilet, but it washes your private area. Oh, okay. I forgot they used to call them something else. Yeah, but overseas in Europe and stuff, they got them. Yeah, it shoots up in your butt, the water. I'm not mad at that. Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at that. Anthony, thank you again, brother, man. I appreciate the love and the tip. Love to you and your family, man. Thank you. Very thankful. AZ, people are panicking while being distracted from what's really going on. It's just a time. Look, again, this is going to pass. However, use the concentrated energy of everyone being attentive to make reform in your own personal life and in society. If not, it's another missed opportunity. And so guys, I just feel through my own life experience, I feel you make a big mistake if you just try to figure out, is this an opportunity to buy the stock market? And you forget about everything else in life. I'm not mad at that, but I'm going to be mad if society, if they just look at it like that, because we'll go right back to what it is. And I'm not saying like 3 weeks ago life wasn't great. Life was great then too. I mean, we weren't horrible. So don't start making life bigger than what it is. 3 weeks ago the world wasn't collapsing either when everything was. But there's always room, okay, for the improvement, okay? Because if you don't believe so, then why do corporations have lobbyists working on the government 365, 7 days a week? Because there's always room for improvement, okay? So you have to have the same mindset towards the regular people and towards your own individual life, excluding that. Every day you should be lobbying yourself for a better life. Okay? Every day you go to eat too much sugar, you got to lobby yourself. Treat yourself, but you got to lobby yourself to be a little bit, cut back on some stuff, okay? And that's truth. Let's continue. Taffy. All these preppers are getting hard-ons. It's true. They live in fear. A prepper is someone who lives for the end of times. I tell you guys, they've been predicting the end of time since the beginning of time. However, people have too much confidence. They're not prepared either. They're not looking at all at the news. They don't have any extra water. You have to balance it, guys. Don't be too confident. Don't be too fearful. It's all going to pass. Even if it's a pandemic, even if it kills masses, human history will go on. There's going to be one psychopath somewhere that's bunkered down, like, with gold and antibiotics. I don't want to be around. He's going to be the last guy. And I pray you're not the last girl, because he's going to come after you. I don't want to be like the offspring of that. There's going to be some psychopath that survives the apocalypse, all right? There's going to be some. But I don't want, life going to go on, guys. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Let's just say positive. And then he goes, heard this one dude at Walmart check out bragging, here we go, about having 20,000 rounds of ammo in storage. These people can't wait. Guys, they've been waiting their whole life for this moment. I mean, let them enjoy the moment as best they can. I remember when Bill Clinton was talking about gun reform. And when he got out of office, they asked Bill Clinton, they said, why was it so hard to pass common sense gun reform? He was from Arkansas, which it's pro-gun right. And he goes, I thought about that for a long time. He goes, because I tried to understand the mindset of the very enthusiastic gun owner. Not the regular shotgun, handgun, the people who wants 20,000 rounds of ammo. And let me tell you something. If Arkansas had a breakout of a pandemic, just like the movie Outbreak, and just like in 1942 when we rounded up Japanese people, they would nuke that thing, man, because they would self-preservation, no matter what your rights are. Never forget it. But I remember Bill Clinton, they asked him, like, why was it so hard to get common sense gun reform? He goes, I tried to understand the mindset of an enthusiastic gun owner, and this is what I found out. After spending time with some people that may have been in poverty, may not, or may been very serious about their gun, one person said something to him, made a light bulb go off. He goes, they're not going to take away my gun. That's all I have in life. You know, for some people, look, they're not a savvy investor. They're not a brainiac. They're not Elon Musk. You know, they're not a humanitarian. They're trying to do the best they can for them, their gun, and that's what they have. That's what their identity. I always tell you guys, my identity is not wrapped up in a religion. My identity is not wrapped up even in my YouTube channel. I mean, my identity is just, me like every day trying to do the best I can. You know what I mean? Because like I know eventually probably YouTube will go away. YouTube will become MySpace. You know what I mean? So it's like everything fades. But for some people, they can't let go, man. They cling to the past. They cling to their gun. It's a mindset that this is all I have in life. You can't take it away. Here's a great parable. I have a family member who hoards stuff and has a storage unit. She lives in poverty. She has a storage unit filled with stuff that she never uses. I tried one time to help her consolidate her stuff so she can live a better life and use her resources more efficiently. She almost killed me because she said, you're not going to take away the only things I have. Here's a woman living in poverty, a family member of mine, with a storage unit costing her money with a bunch of stuff she doesn't use, and she clung to it. She would not let me help her get rid of it. It's the same mindset with the enthusiastic gun owner. It's somewhat of a mental illness. It's not that they're evil people, but if you've been around mentally ill, and we're all mentally ill, so I don't look down on them, but they can't let go. And eventually they're so toxic that you have to let go of them. I let go of that family member because I can't save them. I want society programs so they're never destitute because I'm a humanitarian, but I'm also an individual person that, look, I know we all need our personal space. There's only so much you can do. I want basic things, even for that psychopathic family member. I want universal health care. I want a decent wage, or for some people that won't work, just basic income. But, look, I mean, that's the best parables of my real life experience that I could give you to help you understand different mindsets. Because compassion and humanitarian is understanding other mindsets than your own. However, just like Joe Biden told that gun owner, don't take no shit. Because just like I had to tell that family member, look, you're not going to holler at me, okay, for trying to do the right thing. Now, if you want to live like this, that's fine. But as long as you're not a threat to other people, then that's fine. You can live in shit. So it's a balance, man. It's a thin balance. It's truth. Let's continue to read. Where are we at? Thank you, Taffy. Appreciate you, man. Free Spirit 87 says, Sam, is it bad that to me this crisis is creating an opportunity to travel? And I'll answer that question. I want to finish reading your comment. He goes, as millennials, we are broke as shit, and a trip to Vegas is under 300 right now. No, I'm not mad at you. Just remember, like every investment, there's risk and reward. So right now, okay, the risk is higher if you travel. The reward is you do it at a cheaper price. So if you're willing to take that risk, take it. But if you get the coronavirus, you can't blame society. So if you invested in the stock market and you at 29,000 at the Dow, or if you invested in Tesla at 900, you can't blame that. You can't ask for a bailout. Or if you do, you just, look, we're all going to fail. There's no exact science to life. I can't tell you to take the trip or not. I can't tell you to invest in the stock market right now or not because I don't know. That's the honest truth. What I tell you to do is obviously one is you want it to be legal, right? So right now you still legally have the opportunity. So if you still legally have the opportunity, it's still somewhat, it appears healthy. If you're willing to take a higher risk for a cheaper airfare, then you have to take that accountability. Like there's a group called Men Going Their Own Way. They married Peggy Bundy. Peggy Bundy then divorced them, took half, and then they wondered why this woman was crazy. Guys, she was always Peggy Bundy. You took a high risk. You know what I mean? So, and same thing, like, you had a kid with a man who was tall and had a nice ass. Then he became a deadbeat. Well, you took a higher risk when you had unprotected sex with a man that you knew would make a good baby generically, DNA wise, but he had bad character. So look, in all of our lives, we have to take accountability for the risk and rewards of our life. However, all of us are tied in with failure. Like, that's what I did on my Men Go On Your Own videos. I said, look, I'm saying all this, but I'm also saying I have failed. And it's only by the grace of God we don't get broken. And sometimes I've been broken. So even if you get the coronavirus because you try to go to Vegas to fly cheaper, I still want you to get all the help. And I don't want you to be condemned. However, this is what I will tell you. Just like Chris Christie told all those psychopaths on the Jersey Shore beach when Hurricane Sandy was about 2 hours away. If the pandemic breaks out and a hurricane is 2 hours away and you're still on the Jersey Shore, get your ass off the beach, okay? That's in my Chris Christie voice, okay? However, just like Chris Christie, if there's a government shutdown, I'll sit my big ass on the beach and tell you, you can't come on. I'm not mad at that. Let's stay positive. Good luck to your free spirit. Out of Illinois, man, shout out to you. See, out of Illinois had a personal crisis in his life 2 months ago. 2 months ago, the stock market was at an all-time high. Society had no health issues. But out of Illinois was going through a life and death crisis. His health, he had to have surgery. He was checking his finances. No one knew about no one cared about Illinois 2 months ago because they didn't feel the pain. Okay? When society at a mass level has a crisis, everyone's connected through the pain. Okay? And that's good. That creates humanity and compassion. But 2 months ago, Illinois had an individual crisis. So never forget, guys, that pain ties us together. And when the pleasure comes and when the pain subsides, we all forget about New Year's Eve when we were drunk, begging God to let the hangover go away. And then we got sober again. We got drunk again. So remember your pain, man. Don't get overconfident. That's true. Lala, the stocks went down today, again, 1,000 points. Why? They went down more than 1,000. I think they went down a couple thousand. However, look, they're putting together a bailout package now. I'm not mad at that. But they may go up tomorrow 5,000. They may not. No one knows. But if they go up, this is what they'll all say. That crisis created an opportunity you should have bought. That's what they'll tell you. They'll make you feel bad, and they'll make you chase the market. And maybe you should. I don't know. But if it continues to go down, they're going to say the government has to continue to intervene. We're going through a crisis. Society wants their cake and eat it too. Okay? And so we have to look at some point in human society, this is going to be part of America and society's evolution. Will we continue to look at the stock market index as our only evaluation of the well-being of society? If we do, it's going to get worse eventually. Maybe not in our lifetime. But guys, if a stock ticker determines how we look at society, we're in a bad place in humanity. It's a good versus where we were in the barter system. Let's give capitalism credit because it's better than the barter system. Okay, because the barter system still have you live in a house on a prairie. There would be no Google. You wouldn't be looking at YouTube. You wouldn't be looking at free porn. You'd be living with your ungrateful, strung out relatives, and you'd be bartering with them. Let's give a hand clap to capitalism. However, let's give a thumbs down to when we socialize capitalism and then we hate on universal health care. So let's just balance it out. That's all. May West, shout out to Brooklyn. Hey, Sam, safe travels. You stay safe also. Thank you. Lila, a.k.a. Zach. Every year burn field excess, green grass, dead grass, blowtorch. It gets very wet, hot burn. Yeah, that's interesting. I read the other day an article. They're getting ready to do a what they call a planned burn. Meaning there's some parts of Florida and some parts of the country where in the forest and in rural areas, they do a planned burn, meaning they purposely plan to set the forest on fire. Why? Because the opportunity to proactively burn away potentially dangerous things to the greater good of the environment prevents a disaster. So sometimes a crisis is induced to prevent a further disaster. So think about that. Illinois, each day is a battle. You damn right. Got it tough. Tough it out one day at a time. Yep. There are going to be some good days and bad days, just like Tupac said. He goes through all the bullshit. Just remember, there's going to be good days and bad days. You got to keep your sense of humor. You got to be able to smile. Never forget it. Shout out to Scarface. Juliana. Hey, Sam, it's like watching real life scary zombie movie. Well, just remember the scary zombie movie turns into Cinderella. Okay. But just remember also, right now, Disney shut down. So you can't even go see Cinderella at Disney World because Disney World just shut down today. So, there's some fear that's real, and there's some fear that is real, and there's some that is overdone and is going to be needed for confidence. I don't know when that balances out and when it changes because I'm not God. Just like they asked Jesus, when's the end of times? He said, I don't know. Only God knows. I'm just trying to do the best I can. A lot of my friend of mine, Kyle, he gets stressed because his seizures. But if he doesn't have seizures without stress, it can put you in the hospital. Good news, he's doing well. That's an interesting comment. Yes, sometimes, action or a violent action is kind of like a stress reliever. Stress induces stress kind of thing. Look, guys, just do the best you can. Try to stay healthy. Try not to be stressed out. But just remember, no stress is too much idleness. So if you say, I don't want to get stressed out, I'm not going to do anything, that's not healthy either. Your blood doesn't flow. Like when you go to the gym, what you do is you stress out your muscles. When you sleep, your muscles repair themselves. You need a balance in life. Not easy. Lala Ikizak. Last year, we went to Publix, and I got out of my car. The back seat guy comes up, homeless. Guy want $100. Good thing I don't have that. Instead, I gave him $5. He was an asshole. Yeah, there's some homeless people that are assholes. There's some people right now that are millionaires that want the government to give them more than $100. So it's amazing how we'll mock, and I don't give homeless people money all the time, but it's amazing how we'll mock the panhandlers, and I do. I made videos about it. But we don't mock all the panhandlers right now on Wall Street, begging. They're asking for a lot more than $100, Lila. They were all on the news today. They had their panhandler signs out. I'm going to do a video about it. They were asking the government to pump more money into the system. Guys, we look down, and I look down on too. I'm not going to lie to you because I'm not disingenuous. We look down at the panhandlers at the red light, begging for $1, $100. We don't look down at the Wall Street people who are begging the government to lower the interest rate, pump money into the economy right now. They're begging. Okay, both are hypocrites. Both are bullshit. However, we're all tied in. Okay, so let's just have universal humanity, basic healthcare, basic services, etc. However, look, I know people that are in poverty. They get some basic services, but there's too much inequality, period. Okay? So let's balance it out a little bit, period. Good job. Guy parking lot, Publix, he pissed me off. Douchebag, homeless guy. Sounds like Jim Cramer. Guy parking lot, Publix, he pissed me off. And douchebag, total homeless guy. Sounds like Jim Cramer. All right, guys. I love you. I hope this video helped you in some way. If it did, click that thumbs up. Thank you, Anthony, for the tip. Just keep doing your best, guys. Remember, life keeps going on. Sometimes there's good days. Sometimes there's bad days. No one knows the future. Tomorrow, everything could be great. Tomorrow, everything can be bad. So what do? Here's the answer, guys. I'm going to give you. You focus on what you can control. You take every crisis as an opportunity to improve yourself and to improve society. I believe that's the wholesome good advice that you should listen to. Not listen to, should you buy this, should you do that? That's up to you. What you should do is focus on what you can control. Take this crisis to improve your personal life, okay? And to improve the life of society. If you do that, I don't think you can go wrong, okay? Shout out to you. Stay positive. Peace and love.